witness and celebrate Anna and Jarrod's wedding. I'm Garth, and will be your MC for the evening, evening. And apparently that lets me boss you all around. I know I'm allowed to do this because Anna said I could. So, welcome to take photos, but please no posting on any kind of social media until the bride and groom have actually done their posting first. That would be fantastic. Just be aware, please, that there's 2 video cameras, one under the brolly and one over the side here. Please don't kick them over because Wayne will get really grumpy, which is not unusual. If everyone would like to take a seat, please. If we can have Jarrod's parents, or family I should say, this side, and Anna's on this side, thank you very much. Also, can you please fill the seats up? We don't want it to look like a half full stadium because it won't look any good in the video.
day when the bond of love that you both share brings you together to be united in marriage. My name is Wayne Johnson. I'm your wedding celebrant for today, and I have the privilege of welcoming all of you here today. I know some of you have travelled and fought COVID and all that other stuff. It's part of the world now. But we're in a beautiful place, so let's enjoy ourselves today. And we are happy, as we always will be, to be in the company of Jarrod and Anna. You can all sit down now and poor old Jarrod can take a deep breath. Man, is he stressed? You alright, buddy? Man, good. The most remarkable moment in life is when you meet the person who makes you feel complete. The person who makes the world a beautiful and magical place. The person with whom you share a bond so special that it transcends normal relationships and becomes something so pure and so wonderful that you can't imagine spending another day of your life without them. For Anna and Jarrod, that happened in 2019 at a wedding at the old Cardrona Church. And I know some of you that are here today were there then. That was a big day, Jarrod. Big day. As a third-party spectator to their developing love, it was extremely clear that the two of them represent a perfect pairing because each of them complements the other so well. They balance one another, and while each of them is a tremendous individual on their own, together they're even better. And being better as a team, a unit, and partners in crime is what has been a couple of years in the making and ultimately leads us to where we are today, witnessing their commitment to one another in front of the people they love the most. I remember well, Jarrod was wiring our new home weeks after they'd met. And this is a sad story. Anna had returned to Australia. We worked at night because Jarrod had a day job to do, and he said, if I wire your house, will you marry me for free? Well, I did. And anyway, his phone would signal every 5 minutes there'd be a text. Beep, 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 beep. And while we're trying to wire the house. So by the time he replied and then put the phone away and picked up his tools to do some real work, there it was again, another text. And while Jarrod was working with us and Ella was still in Aussie, he was a very lonely and lovesick man.
Good.
I did a lot of counselling those days. While we worked, half of my job was pulling cables, the other half was calming poor old lovesick Jarrod down with beer and talks. Because I had to do almost everything on that job, I'm now a fully registered master electrician. It was lovely though when Anna came back from Wanaka to live. I remember Jarrod leading up to that time, and man, he was like a... Jarrod's life and Anna's too was fulfilled. Many people said how much they suited each other, and I'm sure that you all agree they are an absolutely gorgeous couple. You feeling better now, mate? However, true love goes beyond the feelings of excitement and romance. It's caring about the well-being and the happiness of your marriage partner more than your own needs and your own desires. And true love doesn't consist of gazing at each other, but looking out together in the same direction. Love makes burdens lighter because you divide them. Love makes joys more intense because you share them. Love makes you stronger so that you can become involved in life in many ways you do not or would not risk to go alone. True love says the two of you are just better together than when you're apart. When you enter into marriage, you enter into life's most important relationship. It's a gift given to bring comfort when there is sorrow, peace when there is unrest, laughter when there is happiness, and love when it is shared. But a successful marriage is a lot more than just that. It takes work, it takes understanding, and it takes time. Most importantly, it takes a commitment from both of you, a commitment to do whatever it takes to make your relationship thrive and not just simply survive. There's a guy called John Muir, he was a poet. He said once, climb the mountains and get their good tidings. Nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into the trees. The winds will blow their own freshness into you, and the storms their energy, while cares drop off like autumn leaves. Anna and Jared, I legally have to ask you if you're here of your own free will, I think I know the answer to this anyway, but we better ask it, to be united as husband and wife.
I am.
I am.
You didn't have to
We
think
are.
about that, did you, buddy boy?
No.
I checked on the main points of, I've got a therapist that I use quite often, his name's Dr. Google, and the 5 points for a happy and successful marriage, there's actually 6 of them because I stuck the last one in. Work hard on your marriage and your relationship. Always speak the truth and listen attentively so that you understand each other's thoughts and intentions. Inspire each other by sharing your accomplishments. Say I love you often. Give each other the freedom and the space to grow. Laugh a lot, even when you're angry. Remember, you are each other's best friend, and having your partner as your best friend is indeed a solid basis for a loving and lasting relationship. And Jared, always remember, happy wife, happy life.
That's a good tip.
I'll do the talking up here. Anna and Jared have chosen today as a couple, and I love this, to perform what we call a love letter and a wine box ceremony. There's a box going to be delivered to us in a moment. It contains a bottle of wine and soon will contain a love letter from each to the other. The letters describe the good qualities they find in one another, the reasons they fell in love, and their reasons for choosing to marry. The letters are sealed in individual envelopes, and each hasn't seen what the other one's written. And I did not steam the letters last night and have a look. Right? I recommend that you keep the box in a place of honour, permanently displayed in your home as a constant reminder of your commitment to each other today. Anna and Jared, life can be hard, and it does throw at us many challenges. Should you ever find your marriage enduring insurmountable hardships, you are, as a couple, to open the box, sit down and drink the wine together, and then separate and read the letters that you wrote to one another when you were united as a couple in marriage. And by reading these love letters, I hope and pray that you'll reflect on the reasons you fell in love and the reasons you chose to marry each other here today. The hope is, however, you won't have a reason to open it before your 5th wedding anniversary, and you'll share the wine and read the letters. Understood? Heather, can I ask you to bring the wine box up? Oh, that's a nice bottle.
Hopefully.
Is it going to last 5 years?
Jared might get in there early.
Thank you, guys. Right. At this moment, the future stretches before you both, rich in possibilities for this little that contains a greater promise of happiness than the linking of your lives by marriage. So now I'm going to invite you to make your declaration and exchange your vows. Jared Stephen Wellman, do you take Anna Mary Powell to be your wife?
I do.
Will you respect Anna as an individual and share with her a relationship of love and trust?
I will.
Anna Mary Powell, do you take Jared Stephen Wellman to be your husband?
I do.
Will you respect Jared as an individual and share with him a relationship of love and trust?
I will.
But slow.
I think it's strange, you know, since they've been holding hands, the stress has just completely gone from this young man.
Oh.
He's all better. Right, you both declared your intent to share your futures together. You'll now confirm this with your chosen vows. I'll take that back. Just take your time, mate.
Anna, wow, what a time it has been together. You mean so much to me, honey. You make me laugh, you make me smile, and you make me fall in love more and more with you every day. I'm so happy and proud that today I get to say you are my wife. I promise to be with you, to be by your side forever, as your best friend, your lover, and your soulmate. I promise to be there for you through the good, the bad, and the challenging times. I'll always be there with my comfort and my support. I promise to encourage and help inspire you with all your and our life goals and dreams. I love you with all my heart, Anna, and I can't wait to see what our future together has in store for us. I'm so happy, thankful, and privileged that I get to spend the rest of my life with you.
That was good. Jarrod Stephen Wellman, aka my Jerry. That's a good nickname. To be standing before you today fulfills my heart more completely than I ever would have imagined. You are the most selfless, caring, hardworking, and kind person I know. It is a dream to call you mine and me yours from this day forward. Just as you always have for me, I will always be there for you in good times and in bad. I vow to be your teammate, partner, and best friend when life is easy and when it gets hard. I will never stop admiring your heart or being thankful for everything you do for us. I promise to provide my unwavering support and eternal encouragement to chase your dreams. And I also promise my answer won't always be no when you ask me to take off your sweaty socks. Jarrod, you mean the world to me. I cherish the days we have together, and I'll never stop loving you.
Did you say I know?
Yeah,
You're a bit cocky now.
hard part's done.
The exchanging of your vows reflects the commitment to the love that's grown so obviously strong between you both. Keep that love you have for each other, always in your heart, and always be true to your vows. And now, as final confirmation of your marriage, you're going to exchange wedding rings. The act of giving and receiving of a wedding ring reminds us that love itself is an act of giving and receiving, the most that life has to offer. The ring is and always will be an outward sign of love and commitment, and will signify to all the bond of love and marriage that you both share. Thank you. If you would like to slide that onto your beautiful bride's wedding finger.
Why is that on the other hand?
Don't argue with her. Not yet, anyway. Say after me. Anna,
Anna,
I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a token of my love
as a token of my love
and as a sign
and as a sign
that I have chosen you
that I have chosen you
above all others.
above all others.
Where it is
others.
Where it is.
Others.
Can I say it one more time?
No, I got it the last time.
Where it is a symbol
Where it is the symbol
of all we share together.
of all we share together. Oh, shit.
Don't say that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's tight.
That's not coming off, right?
No, it's not.
Purposefully.
That's the way you designed it.
Yeah.
If you would put that onto your nearly new husband's wedding finger.
Give me your left hand.
This is the only thing we didn't practice yesterday. Jarrod,
Jarrod,
I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a token of my love
as a token of my love
and as a sign
and as a sign
that I have chosen you
that I have chosen you
above all others.
above all others.
Where it is a symbol
Where it is a symbol
of all we share together.
of all we share together. Oh, loose. Interesting.
We'll get that resized on Monday. On these hands that you are holding, you've placed wedding rings. As the wedding rings are without edge or seam, having no beginning and no end, they symbolise the perfection of true and enduring love. Anna and Jarrod, you fulfilled all of the legal obligations required by New Zealand law. So now, by the powers vested in me as a registered New Zealand marriage celebrant, I have the absolute pleasure to pronounce you to be husband and wife. And this is the bit that Jarrod's been looking forward to all day. He may now kiss his beautiful bride.
Click on me.
Yeah.
You want to clean yourself up later?
Is mine good?
Oh, yours is stunning. Not much left. You're right there.
Am I?
You go like this.
Oh, what is this? Do you want a floss?
I think I'm fine.
Show me. I think you're good.
Can we keep going now?
Yeah.
Anna and Jared, this has been wonderful sharing this day with you two guys. I've been looking forward to this day for so long. I remember, oh no, I won't. Will I? Yeah, I will.
Go.
We went to it was a rather sad occasion.
Oh,
at the
no.
time, but you don't want, will I stop now?
That's fine.
And there was a sort of an after party, I guess you'd call it. And our darling little Anna had more than probably 2 dozen. And she decided that night she was going to plan this whole entire wedding, stumbling around the place asking, could you do that, and would you do this for me? And by the time the night was finished, it was all on. But I think Jared got wind of this and got a bit frightened. It took him 2 months to propose after that. What we're going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, is Jeremy's going to play some music. We're going to go over and sign the legal bits, and this is going to be witnessed by Adrian and Sean, and we'll be back in a moment with the last wee bit. funny thing is that although we place so much energy and importance on our wedding day, it isn't the biggest day of our life. The biggest day of your life is every day thereafter. Because it's not the pledge to love somebody that matters, but the act of fulfilling that pledge that is the most important thing. In other words, it's only just begun. Ladies and gentlemen, could you please stand? And as with a great deal of pleasure that I introduce you to New Zealand's newest married couple, Mr. and Mrs. Wellman.
It's on my lips.
Gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Wellman. Never hand her a knife, Jared. Beautiful. Obviously, toilets out this way, exits this way, this way. In case of a fire, as an ex-fireman, I said the steps you should take would be bloody great big ones outside. And the assembly area is actually out the other side in the car park. It's not going to happen because, oh no, there's a few firemen here. It might happen. There's a photo booth out through here. Everyone please go out and use it. There's 2 photos you can take. One you keep yourself, one you put in the book and write a comment. Am I correct? I've got the nod. And then there was something else. Oh, add a note to the book, yes, of course. And there is enough for 2 each. It is really important for Anna and Jared that you actually do this because obviously they want to keep a record of who was here and the comments. So, other housekeeping rules, obviously no smoking inside. The music will stop at 11:30 and we have to exit the premises by 12 o'clock. Once the bar tab runs out, as a cash bar will carry on running. We're not 100% sure when the bar tab will run out, but when it does, I will announce it, and then from then on, please, you'll just be able to buy your drinks from the bar yourself. For dinner, a number of people with allergies, and the food is clearly labelled, and all of it's gluten-free. Anyone who indicated vegetarian will get their own meal provided by the chef. Somewhere there was something about the cake. So there's 2 cakes, and one of them is gluten-free vegetarian, is that correct? And allergy-free one. For those who don't need the allergy-free one, if you could make sure you don't eat that one straight away and let the other people have a chance. Otherwise, there might be some anaphylactic stuff going on, I don't know. Tomorrow, just been told by Heather to announce this, is the after function, and it's at 32 Rockhaven. There will be gluten-free veggie stuff, and the barbecue lunch will be supplied, but BYO drinks. Thank you very much. So everyone knows where Heather and Tony live, 32 Rockhaven. Put it in Google. Also, the coasters and the wee kiwis, they're yours to take home. Anna's auntie Heather supplied the kiwis. So they're yours to take home. It's a gift to take away with you. I'd also at this point just like to invite anybody who might want to speak other than the actual speech makers, just to come and catch up with me. And we'll sort out for you to have a turn at that if you would like to do that over and above the other speeches. I think before we start, I'm the only one without a glass here. Put me on. You put me on.
You want a rosé?
Oh, I'll have that. Anyway, because we're going to charge our glasses, thank you very much. And, and have a toast to absent friends and family. Family? Family. Maybe I shouldn't drink. And then we'll start with let's do the toast first. Everyone would like to stand, please. Here's to absent friends and family. Okay, you can all sit down again. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. We'll start with a couple of speeches. First up, the new husband, Jarrod. The floor is yours.
Thank you. You want to stand up? Yeah. G'day everybody. I'm not a big fan, and I've never been very good at these, but I'll do my best. Public speaking's not my thing. Firstly, I'd like to thank everybody here, our family and our friends. You are the reason Anna and I are standing here before you together today. You've all had a huge impact on our lives, and we are so grateful. I know it hasn't been easy travelling during these times, but Anna and I appreciate your efforts to get here, and it's an absolute pleasure having you all here to celebrate with us. I'd like to thank everyone for all your help with the planning and setup of this special day. We know there are a lot of people who wanted to be here, but sadly couldn't make it. We thank them for their wishes, their love, and the support they have for us. A special thanks to Jan, Wayne and Lisa for all your hard work helping us organise our special day, marrying us and taking beautiful photos of Anna and I. To Vanessa, our florist, who couldn't be here today, but all these flowers are amazing. To Jeremy and Matt for your expertise with the music and streaming, and to Garth for agreeing and being our amazing MC. It is greatly appreciated. I'd like to put out a huge thanks to Alexandra and the team at Edgewater for all your hard work you have put in for helping us make this day run smoothly and stress-free as possible. It looks amazing. I'd like to thank Anna's father, Russell and Rowan, for accepting me into your beautiful family and for your contribution to Anna and I throughout the years. I would also want to give a huge thanks to my mum and dad. You have always been there for Anna and I. The way you invited Anna into our family with open arms and made her feel welcome. You both mean so much to Anna and I know you'll always be here for us in the future. Lastly, but most importantly, my beautiful bride. What an amazing day it's been. Anna, you look absolutely amazing. From the first day I met you and your beautiful big smile, I knew you were very caring, kind-hearted, and I just couldn't take my eyes off of you. I knew there was something special about you, and you had me head over heels. Every day I think I must be the luckiest man to be the one who gets to wake up next to you every morning. I love how we laugh together and share our goals and our life dreams together. You inspire me to do better and to be better. You are my whole world, Anna, and you have always been there for me. I love you so much, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you.
That was the second most important person in the room. Now we're going to hear from the most important person. Anna. That page is too solid.
Whew. Oh, that's tough to follow. Firstly, I'd love to echo Jarrod's sentiment to thank each and every one of you for coming, and especially to everyone who travelled far and to all of those who pitched in. Times are pretty crazy right now, and it takes a big effort to not only avoid the big C, but to take time off work, travel to Wanaka, get all jazzed up for this very special day. While there are people that are around the world who we'd love to have here in person, we're so grateful to all of you that are here and all of you tuning in from afar. I also have another shout out to add from Jarrods to Grace, DJ Grace. She'll be providing the tunes later, so I expect everybody to get on the dance floor. Thanks, Grace. Her partner Luke for going out and hunting and providing some meat for tomorrow. Wild, free range, I hope. Not from a deer paddock. And to also, I know, Heather, you've been thanked, but it's just so cool having these lovely handmade Fiordland coloured kiwis here for everyone. So cute. Okay, Jerry. My honey, my husband. I waited so long for you. You're truly the best human I've ever met, and I'm so incredibly lucky that you chose me to be your forever person. Since the moment we were set up at a wedding just over 3 years ago here in Wanaka, I knew we were something different. In what would have been a cruel twist of fate, I had actually declined to attend this wedding. However, Karis, she caught me on a vulnerable day and begged me to come. And that moment I said, heck it, with another word, and put the whole trip on my nearly maxed out credit card, which has long since been cut up. I think this was the universe intervening to help our stars align. The night of the wedding, our friends Kate and Josh had something planned, and they pointed you out to me numerous times, with Kate triumphantly announcing she sat us next to each other for dinner. I wasn't looking for anything and tried to avoid this fuss, but as soon as I found my place beside you and we started talking, it was just so easy. Your eyes came alive when you talked about helping people, and you listened to everything I was saying so intently. I thought you were in on the setup, but it turns out you had no idea. You were a true gentleman for the rest of the evening, and we ended up sitting outside on this picnic table talking deep into the night until you walked me home, where our Airbnbs were also conveniently right next to each other. I wasn't sure what would happen after our evening together, but you seemed to cement our fate when you arrived at our Airbnb the morning after and offered to walk me back to the wedding brunch. It was the sweetest gesture, and although I declined, it did really stick with me. I'm so glad I ended up tracking you down on Facebook later that day to say that it was really nice meeting you. And not that I'm counting or anything, but we haven't gone a day without chatting since that moment. As I was driving back to Queenstown with Karis and Ollie, Karis, my fairy godmother it seems, said, I could see you marrying someone like him. It might have planted a wee seed, but what eventuated from this is somehow I managed to convince you that Karis and Ollie actually invited you to their wedding a few months later. And I only heard recently that it took you a lot of convincing to go to that wedding and be my plus one. So our second date was also a wedding. Now, I'm a hopeless romantic, and I couldn't imagine a better beginning for our love story. We've had many adventures since then, from my first visit to Wanaka, where you took me to the west coast, and I was expecting this cute little Airbnb by the sea, but we arrived at the Haast pub in what seemed to be the middle of nowhere, no sea view. But it turned out to be the most fun nights I've ever had. You taught me that it doesn't matter where we are, but it's who you're with that makes the trip. Or when you flew over to Perth for a week for your birthday, and I thought it was a good idea to drive you 12 hours up the coast the very next day to Exmouth, which, in my opinion, if you can sit with someone for 12 hours in a car, someone jet-lagged, and still have the best time, it's a pretty safe sign that you can move countries for them. But little did I know that you don't usually spend more than 10 minutes in a car at a time, and this was your literal idea of hell. You taught me, oh gosh, need to swap hands. Whew, it's getting to the soppy bit. You taught me that the best relationships have a bit of compromise for the ones you love, and maybe I could have packed in a bit more of a smaller surprise for that trip. But what it's worth, the destination and the company was truly amazing. Jarrod, you have the kindest and most selfless heart. You think about everyone else before yourself, and you work so hard to please others and to build a stable home and life for us. You have shown me what proper, bone-crushing, soul-calming, dizzying, ever-confirming, complete sense of peace, soulmate love feels like. You're truly the best person I know, and it will be an absolute privilege to grow old with you. I have one last adventure to note, and it was something pretty special, a trip around the top of the South Island, a mixture of being in the middle of nowhere with some of the best people, discovering New Zealand with our dog, a music festival, and a long tramp. We stayed in forests, beaches, ate lots of camp cooking and seafood, and had the most wonderful time together. But what we were oblivious to then is that on that trip, I began carrying our first child. Weeks later, when I found out and you were away, I called you, panicking and shaking as I sobbed the words, "I'm pregnant." You looked back at me and smiled and said, "Why are you so upset? This is a good thing. We're ready for this and we can do it." You taught me that we can tackle anything together no matter what. You are already the best partner, and come September 27th, our little family will grow, and it will be my greatest joy seeing you become a father. I love you. Wait. Who called it though? Yeah, he knew when I was like 4 weeks. No joke.
Okay, people. That's all from me and anybody for the next wee while. We're going to get some dinner served, so sit back, enjoy yourselves. Thank you. Continue on. Hang on, I better put my glasses on. It's getting dark and I'm getting old. I personally would like to take this opportunity to say how honoured I am to be part of this wedding. I've known Jarrod since before he was born. As after Andrea, Tony said, he had one in storage just ready for delivery. So when Jarrod was born, I have to say he wasn't a pretty kid. He was sort of long and skinny and had a big head. And as you say, I turned to his father and thought, oh no, that's right. As he grew up, he was a quiet little kid. I think he was a bit of a thinker more than a talker. But as he grew, I've got to say he turned to a fine young person, and a fine older person now. Not as old as some of us, but with a caring and very capable personality, always achieving, and a very, very highly and earning respect from all who knew him and he worked with. And that includes Fire Brigade and St John's and such as well. I have to say, Anna, you're a very, very lucky girl. But I also have to tell you about his first love. I think you're going to be shocked. Anyway, as a young fella, my young fella and a couple of other young fellas and their fathers, we used to go to Barn Bay for trips. And anyway, Jarrod, it was probably one of the last trips we did over there. He was getting well through his teenage years, and we got over to Barn Bay. Now this is over the west coast, and you've got to do full driving to get there, and you're on a beach, and we lit this quite, as firemen, small bonfire. And we stood around this bonfire, and Jarrod was allowed to have a few beers, so he did have a few beers. And anyway, as the night went on, Jarrod started talking more than he ever had. He never talked at all, but all of a sudden this night it was like a non-shut-up thing, and this is when I discovered his first new love, and it was me. All night, all I got was, I love you, Garth. I love you, Garth. But anyway, as it turned out, it was just the drink talking, because he wasn't like that in the morning anymore. So. But I sincerely thank you very much for asking me to be part of your wedding. I really do appreciate it. So we'll keep going. Next we're going to ask Tony, Jarrod's dad, get up and say a few words. Thank you.
Yeah, I love you, Garth. We all love you. I'm going to the corner because I hate people looking at my back. Is that all right? Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to join us on this wonderful day to witness my son as he takes a new milestone of marriage and parenthood, as you will know. I would especially like to thank everyone that put time and effort to make this a very special occasion. On behalf of myself, Heather, Andrea, Daniel, Laura, Chris, Kenzie, and where is he? Mason. I'd like to officially welcome Anna into the Wellman clan, and as our two families come together. Jarrod seems to be a quiet soul, but he is the backbone of our family, and also the life of a party, as his mates will tell you. We are so proud of what he's achieved in life. It has been a great joy to me as he's followed in my footsteps as an electrician and also a firefighter. I remember the first time I met Anna. She was very happy. She likes a good port or whiskey and was very chatty. You could tell she was a beautiful lady with a big heart and full of fun. Yes, a perfect match. I am so grateful you've found each other and can celebrate a lifetime of laughter, happiness, and love together, and also babies. Yeah. But there is another side to Jared. If he has a few drinks, as Garth will just announce, out comes Brian. Someone who knows a lot more than most people and has an opinion on most things. But if you've ever been out with Anna, at some stage you might have met a girl that speaks very proper English. Stephanie. Hip hip. I guess they each have their own quirks that make them so suited to each other. So I'd now like to propose a toast to my wonderful son and my new daughter-in-law. We love you both. Please raise your glasses and drink to an awesome life together. Anna and Jared. Cheers, Stephen.
Thank you for that, Tony. Okay, can I now ask Russell and his father? I'll pass you this, Russell. Oh, you can take that too.
Right? Big voice. Right on, dear. Welcome all. Is it on? Can you hear me? My background suggests you need to have some context of where Anna's come from. The Waikato. Mulu country. Taranaki. Just before that, so my name's Russell. I'm the eldest son of deceased parents Colin and Mary. Mary, a middle daughter of three to a dairy farming operation near Matamata. And Dad as an only child who followed his father as a stock buyer in the Waikato in King Country. On Anna's mother's side, her mother Mandy is the eldest child of the Tatham clan, whose parents were cattle and sheep farmers on the west coast in the King Country area. So I, as the proud father of Anna being the only granddaughter from my parents' offspring. So she holds automatically a special place as the sole female. On behalf of Anna and myself, we wish to welcome all of our family and friends who have attended here today, as well as Heather and Tony and their family and friends, and of course the rest of you as special guests, to witness and share this joyous day. I'm not sure if the wedding celebrant has been thanked, but in case he hasn't, I love the tartan and the kilt. I did take time to go up and ask him the tartan of his kilt, thinking it resembled my grandmother, who was a steward. And when my wife and I were in Edinburgh many years ago, one of the few things you can do is look up your tartan up there. And I found one that was very close to the celebrant, and that was the hunting steward, green and black. But I can assure you today, it's the Johnston clan. So lovely to see that, and a nice touch. Anna was our first child. And as many will know, your first is something a bit special. Parents? Hey? Yeah? I was one of those. I can recall Anna's birth. It was a 35-minute drive to Taranaki Base Hospital, middle of the night. However, all went to plan until the rain came down. Mum was in hospital, mother was in hospital, and I was called to civil defence. Never saw Mum for 3 days. But anyway, it all worked out well. My family came down from Hamilton and visited new mother, new child. Never forgot. I can say not much happened with Anna. She quickly grew into her teenage years without too much ado. But she seemed to acquire a great set of skills in those formative years. She was able to communicate with people so easily, and this is not something that I find easy, but certainly my daughter did. And it actually set her up very well for life. Because communication's absolutely one of the top things. To be able to communicate, it is a great passage to furthering your life and connection with people. So with little input from me, she's already streets ahead of me at the same age. She left home at 17. So she's, making a nest at a pretty young teenage year, meeting lots of people, and essentially she, on her own bat, got her own degree, finished her degree, and she could have gone anywhere in the world on the back of that degree for employment. But she chose Perth. And I'm really happy that she chose Perth because Penny and family were able to keep an eye on her on my behalf and did a pretty good job, Penny. Auntie Penny. It was inevitable as time moved on that she was keeping in close contact with classmates of Hillcrest High School, where she did her high school years pretty much on the eastern side of Hamilton City. And inevitably there would be a wedding or two. And while I can't say a heck of a lot, which hasn't already been said tonight, I was there to witness the results of her attendance of a wedding down here. Because the phone could never be let down. On our way back from this area back to Perth via Hamilton to see Dad, Snapchat or Messenger, constant, and it was just whatever. And I honestly had to quiz her a little bit about the attention she was applying to the phone. I can vaguely recall a male was involved. Quizzing Anna, all she could say was, she had met someone. And given the strength of her reply on the phone, the initial bonding must have been strong. The rest is history. When love takes over, it is truly nice as a parent to see the jigsaw take shape and all the important matters come together. Anna has chosen well, as has Jarrod. I think it's already been said, match made in heaven, or implied. Gosh, I really feel the same. Welcome, Jarrod, formally into the PAL side. You and I met more on a few occasions already, and we think highly of you. Really do. All I can say is we're very proud to have you as our newest member of the family. Please join me in toasting Anna and Jarrod. Well done on you both.
Okay. It is now Karis's turn. Is it Karis? Sorry.
Well, you can tell that I'm not a boomer because my speech is on my phone and not on a piece of paper. And I can confirm, Russell, that many things did happen during Anna's teenage years, including us stealing Henry, your beloved truck, and taking it for many joyrides. Anna and I have been friends since we were 13 years old. Anna walked into our woodwork class late on the very first day of high school and had nowhere to sit, so she had to sit next to me. It's been 19 years since then, and I've watched Anna grow through many phases in her life. Tragic haircuts, questionable fashion, and less than ideal boyfriends. But most importantly, I've watched her exceed at everything that she sets out to do, including travelling the world, deep sea diving, and working overseas. When it was time for another local Wanaka wedding, Anna lived in Australia, as you all know, and luckily I messaged Anna on a particularly vulnerable day and convinced her to fly over so that we could see each other. And luckily she agreed, because that was the wedding where our Bob Anna met the wonderful Jarrod. Little did Jarrod know that there had been some scheming. And Anna had purposely been placed next to him at dinner. Straight from the get-go, I could tell that it was going very well, as Anna was blushing furiously red, the kind of red that we've been trying to hide for many years with a green stick. That night, Jarrod not only won over Anna, but my husband Ollie as well, by saying, "What is it?"
It's a motherfucking dog roll!
Needless to say, Ollie was head over heels. Just like the rest of us. The next day I said to Anna, it doesn't have to be him, but Jarrod is husband worthy. We even set a wedding date to give Anna some inspiration. February 2022, which was 3 weeks ago. So here we are, and I guess she took that advice very seriously. Anna and Jarrod, I have tried to describe your relationship, and instead I have settled on a poem by Rumi called The Privileged Lovers. The moon has become a dancer at this festival of love, this dance of light. This sacred blessing, this divine love beckons us to a world beyond that only lovers can see, with their eyes of fiery passion. They are the chosen ones who have surrendered. Once they were particles of light, and now they are the radiant sun. They are the privileged lovers who create a new world, with their eyes of fiery passion. So here's to you guys creating your new world starting today.
Get us all the tears. Righto, put your hankies away. Okay. Next we have Dylan Stock. Is going to come and say, is going to stand up and say a few words. Now, hey? What?
I said just a few. You've got a time.
You didn't let me finish. Okay, so most of us know mother and father. They can talk. Dylan outdoes them. And there's actually a little bit of Aussie in amongst it, so you can imagine, once he gets going, you'll never stop him.
Cheers, mate. You obviously haven't met my sister. No. Jarrod, Stephen Wellman. I'm just going to start off with saying, Anna, you look fantastic. And it's good to see you kind of in a suit for once. Little did we know when you guys sat next to each other at a wedding a few years ago that we'd end up here. So this is pretty impressive. I guess we best start at the beginning. 2003, as Gus alluded to, a noisy 8-year-old Australian bowls into room 8 at Wanaka Primary School. And it's safe to say, along with Shuts, we hit it off straight away as pretty good mates. Since then, we've shared 20 years of serious entertainment. As everyone in this room will know, Jarrod is the sort of guy that can change the landscape of a room, in a good way, of course, with his humour and wit. He certainly wasn't the class clown at school, but he really knows how to bring out the best in people and make them laugh in any sort of situation. There's an infamous story that my parents will both know. It's the heat pump story. And this just shows how Jarrod can change the landscape of a room. We'd had at least a few too many drinks with Shuts at a school friend's party. Jarrod had organised to stay the night at my parents' place, which the spare room became known as Jarrod's room because he ended up there pretty much every weekend right through our year 13 at school. And we got home at a silly hour, We thought the house was unlocked, but we couldn't open the doors. They were unlocked. I managed to chuck my hand through the cat flap in the laundry door, open the door, proceed to stand on the cat. We've bowled into the house, and Mum's standing there, obviously not really happy to see us at small hours. And Jarrod's greeted with a, "Hi, Mrs. Stock." And we said a couple of choice words and went our separate ways to bed. Not long after, Mum could feel a breeze in their bedroom. She thought the front door was open, so she instructed Dad to go and check. Dad goes around the corner and sees Jarrod half out the front door, half naked, full head in the garden. He yells, "Jarrod!" Before he could get another word out, Jarrod just replies, "I'm just checking your heat pump, Mr. Stock." It's fitting because Jarrod had installed that a couple of weeks earlier. He maintains to this day he didn't spew, but I feel that's a lie. But since then, we've shared a lot of good laughs at the expense of each other, especially over a few beers in the more recent years. Like Garth alluded to, if you haven't experienced Jarrod after a few beers, you're certainly missing out. As we found out a couple of weeks ago at Kirky Stag Do, when we left the pub at 2 a.m, and had a dance party in the car park. Right throughout our schooling days and even into now, we've been right next to each other. I'd say hand in hand, but not quite. Trying out new sports, going away on boys' trips, attending clubs. So, we played rugby, cricket, golf, bowls. We've been on boys' trips. And, of course, our days in Cubs and Scouts with Nick as well. But, I'm more than happy that you're taking on marriage and fatherhood before me, mate. In all seriousness, though, you're a great human, mate. You're one of the very best that anyone will come across. You do anything for anyone, and you deserve the world. And I can see from the love between you and Anna that you're going to give that to her, and she's going to give it back, and deservingly so. People always go on about how you're losing one of the boys when he gets married, but we're not losing one of the boys today. We're gaining one of the girls. So, congrats, guys.
Well done, mate. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the speeches. I would remind everybody about the photo booth. I'm not sure how that's going, but I'm sure Anna would love to see everybody's photo in that book. Or Jarrod would too, I'm sure. So please make sure you do. I better go over and do it myself, I suppose.
Oh, you're so cute.
Yeah, you know. No. No. No, not at all. It's Charlene's birthday today as well, so. She just loves this stuff. And if we make it past midnight, we'll be able to do that again for Nairi, won't we? So, it's your birthday tomorrow, isn't it, Nairi? Happy birthday for tomorrow.
It's Mason's on Tuesday.
Also, just remind you about the after function tomorrow at 32 Rockbourne at Tony and Heather's place. Rockhaven. Yeah, don't go to the vet. That's at 11:30, is that correct? Yep. 11:30 tomorrow. What else have I got here? So shortly there's going to be some dessert served. Tea and coffee will be available, I presume, out through there or there by the look of it. And this is where it says about the allergies in the cakes that I was fumbling with before. Yes, so there's cake out there that's allergy free, so if the people who aren't allergic to stuff eat the other one. And I think at the moment, yes, that's all. We will be moving on to the first dance at some point. later. We will be moving on to that. And when we do that, we'd like everyone to line the room so that we can definitely see the happy couple start the dance off. I'm not sure where you're doing that. Out there. Perfect. Okay. Once again, I'm sure we all wish them best wishes and a happy life, and we'd love to see how this all turns out with how many babies and all the rest of it. So, yeah, that's pretty much all from me, and thank you very much. Cheers, bye.